this morning.
Kentucky lawmakers are advancing a bill that would change some decision-making policies in schools.
If made law, Senate Bill 152 would change some processes impacting principals and school councils. WKYT's Phil Pendleton has more on what lawmakers had to say about the bill in a Senate committee this morning.
Senate Bill 152 is sponsored by Senator Aaron Reed, but it has multiple co-sponsors. It would require that superintendents select school principals for districts, and that they require that principals provide monthly and annual reports to boards of education. It would essentially change how site-based decision-making councils operate and place decisions upon principals and superintendents and not parents or teachers. Sponsor Aaron Reed says parents and teachers would still have very important roles, but the most important decisions dealing with accountability would fall upon school leaders. 3 people did speak out against the bill.
What it does is it clarifies responsibility. Under this bill, the advisory councils will continue to provide feedback and recommendations. However, final authority over hiring, curriculum decisions, and school leadership will rest with the principal and the superintendent.
Local control is important because those communities, you are in that community, you know what those students need.
Senator Aaron Reed says there were a number of provisions that were changed within the bill that he said should address a number of the concerns that were raised today. He says it would not replace the role that parents and teachers have as far as these school councils. It did pass committee by a final vote of 10-2. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
That bill now heads to the full Senate for consideration.